What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA, and yeah, this article right here on Variety, man, it just proves everything that we've always thought about this particular show, She-Hulk. She-Hulk team explains the fourth wall breaking finale and delivering an FU to toxic Marvel trolls. You see that right there, guys? This whole thing, they admit, was nothing but the creatives trolling the trolls, right? Giving a big middle finger and FU to the trolls. I'm telling you, man, the people that are currently running the MCU, and that includes Kevin Feige because he's in this article as well, these cats are nothing but hacks, okay? This chick that wrote this show is a hack. And everybody that was a part of this show is nothing but a hack, okay? They're not creative, they're not entertaining, and that's the reason why they did what they did. And they actually go into that and very well explain exactly why this show was as bad as it was. Let's go ahead and check out this article real quick. So it says, throughout She-Hulk, attorney-at-law Jennifer Walters, a.k.a. She-Hulk, Tatiana Maslany, repeatedly breaks the fourth wall by not only directly addressing the camera, but acknowledging that she exists in a Marvel Studios superhero TV show. In the season finale, pointedly titled, "Whose Show Is This?", Jennifer smashes out of the show entirely, jumping through the Disney Plus portal to confront the writers of the show about why the finale is so needlessly convoluted with extraneous, nonsensical plot lines, including one about a cabal of toxic fanboys who troll Jennifer online about being a female superhero who doesn't deserve her powers. Now, full disclosure, I haven't seen this episode, and I probably won't see this episode until I got some time to kill. Maybe I ate a bad burrito and I got nothing to do but sit on the toilet for about 20 or 40 minutes. And it's like, okay, I'll try to catch these last couple of episodes of She-Hulk because I tapped out of this thing a while ago. Eventually, Jennifer confronts the one in charge. No, not Marvel Studios chief Kevin Feige, but KEVIN, or the Knowledge Enhanced Visual Interconnectivity Nexus. This sounds stupid. I'm sorry for anybody that actually watched this thing. I may skip it, I may not, but I mean, this is just the dumbest idea I've heard. And again, it goes back to who's writing this thing. Oh yeah, talentless hacks. As Maslany, head writer Jessica Gao, director and executive producer Kat Coiro explained to Variety, Feige was in on the gag from the start and even helped to shape his AI avatar. They also talked about the satisfaction they felt in seeing real online trolls use the exact same criticisms of She-Hulk, the show, that the fictional online trolls on the show used against She-Hulk, the character. Look at that, man. They were so satisfying. Oh, what satisfaction. Mission accomplished. That's probably what they were saying. We knew that they was going to make fun of our show and give us these stupid troll lines and these same criticisms. And we came in, we showed them, ha ha ha. We taped this months and months ago and we did this exact same thing. We knew what y'all were going to do. That's what they're going to try to say, right? Okay. And then it goes on and talks about some other nonsense that might have been interesting if the show was any good, but because the show isn't good, I'm just going to skip past all of that nonsense, right? In addition to breaking the fourth wall, the finale tackles some of the exact same trolling comments that Marvel fans have been making. How did it feel to watch that happen as the show aired, knowing how the finale would turn out? So this is what Tatiana Maslany had to say. Jessica Gao is a genius and knows about the culture we're living in and her position in it when she's writing these stories about a woman superhero. She knows what that response is going to be. As a cast, it was delightful sending each other these troll responses like, oh my God, give them a week and they're going to literally see this pop up verbatim in the show and become the villains of the show. It was thrilling. So imagine for a moment that you write a show whose sole purpose is to make a meta commentary on quote unquote toxic fan culture, right? And then you come into an article and you start bragging about it and talk, oh, look what we did, ha ha ha. You know, imagine you doing some nonsense like that. You just exposed yourself for being completely talentless. You know, for having no good ideas for this show or this character, all right? That's what you did because you purposely wrote the show this way. That's what she's basically saying here, is that she purposely wrote a bad show so that toxic fans, quote unquote, would come in here and rip it apart. And then they would predict all of the little comments that were going to be said about the show. And then they come back at the end, ha ha ha, we got you. Because now you're just basically saying, well, you don't really possess the talent of storytelling or creativity or anything like that. All you can do is just create a show that's so bad that people will dunk on it. And then at the end of the show, you're going to sit back and say, oh, see, look, we knew what they were going to say. Well, yeah, of course, you made a bad show. You purposely made this show bad. I mean, is this entertainment? Is this writing? For who? Like, who was entertained by this? And it says, were you expecting to face trolls when you signed on for the show? Reading the script, it was so true. There's so much resistance to a woman just existing in that space of superheroes. There's always going to be that. I sort of anticipated it. It's why I also feel it's important. There's such an entitlement to space held by certain people. And to even exist as She-Hulk is like a F you. And I love that. I mean, do you see the nonsense that's coming out of these folks' mouths? Like, look what they said, right? They said, oh yeah, Jessica Gao is a genius that knows about the culture we're living in and her position in it when she's writing these stories about a woman superhero, right? She knows what that response is going to be. That's what she's saying, right? Okay. Then she comes back here to say thing. There's so much resistance to a woman just existing in that space of superheroes. Really? So, you know me, I like the receipts, right? So let's go ahead and check out Rotten Tomatoes. Let's see what the receipts are. Let's see the evidence of this resistance of women existing in the superhero space, you know, coming from the fans, right? Coming from the audiences. Let's go and check that out and let's see what that looks like. All right, so here's a little movie about a woman with a female protagonist and a female actor, directed by a female director, right? Wonder Woman, 83%. And then here goes another one, right? Wonder Woman, 1984. Now, I personally think that this movie is absolutely atrocious, but nevertheless, you can see audience score, 73%. That means only about 27% of the audience said, nah, not for me, or no, this is trash. Here goes another superhero film with a female, with a bunch of females in it, right? Birds of Prey. You know, the woman superhero space is so tight and everybody knows exactly what the responses are. 78% audience score. Let's check out a couple from your own universe. This one's Black Widow, right? Black Widow, a lot of folks didn't like it, me included. But nevertheless, look at that audience score, all right? The audience score is 91%. Now remember, I want y'all to keep in mind what the lady just said. There's so much resistance to a woman just existing in that space of superheroes. I want y'all to keep that in mind as we see these last couple. Here goes another show in the same universe and also a television program at that. WandaVision, 88% average audience score. Okay, so you guys get the picture, right? These other films and this show particularly have done extremely well with audiences, right? And even though this woman says she knows exactly what the audiences are going to be, well, if I were to go off of what I'm looking at, it seems like the audiences are probably pretty much going to like your shit. You know, if you write a good show or if you put some effort in, looks like the audiences for the most part are saying, okay, I dug it, I'm cool, or whatever, you know? Yeah, there's going to be people like 83% ain't perfect. It's not 100, right? But for the most part, your audience is going to be positive. So explain this. Go ahead. I'll wait. Explain what we're looking at here with this 35% average audience score. And let's just leave that up for a second because, you know, again, you saw that everybody else, all the other films and the shows that we saw had this nice, freshly popped bucket of popcorn. Everybody was like, yeah, this is good, right? You saw that. So why is yours a green bucket of rotten spilled popcorn, Jessica Gao? You know it so much. What happened? What happened? And look, guys, whether or not you like those other particular movies or not, that's not even the point. At least you can say that the directors in those particular films, for better or for worse, took the work seriously, tried to tell a good story for the audiences, and for the large majority of those audiences, they liked the superhero woman that they got. Okay? So what are these idiots mad about? I mean, these shows didn't get like universal praise, right? But they still got well more, you know, thumbs up than thumbs down. So what are they talking about? What is she trying to say with that? There's such an entitlement to space held by certain people, and to even exist as She-Hulk is like a F you, and I love that. You know, the only thing that fans actually ask for is that you actually give a damn about them, number one, okay? And then number two, you just put in good effort for the show. That's all fans want, right? You care about the fans and you put in some effort. I can even forgive like really bad shows or bad writing or anything like that. I can forgive it to a certain extent as long as I know that you approached the show honestly. Okay, you had in mind the fans. You had in mind, hey, I'm gonna put in the best day's work that I can. I'm not just gonna fluff this off and just make a joke out of it. Nope, I'm gonna actually put in some real work. I can respect that even if I don't like your show. If you just came out and say, hey, you know what? We really wanted to tell you a compelling story. We really had a character that we enjoyed and that we loved, that we really wanted to bring to the big screen or to the small screen, and we really tried our best. If we failed to do that, if we failed to excite you and entertain you, we're sorry. We're going to try to do better next time, but that was our heartfelt intent. Okay? Not this nonsense. Not this.
She-Hulk is like a F-U to the toxic fanboys.
And it goes on talking about Jen and Matt's relate. I don't care, man. Nobody cares about this trash, okay? Nobody cares about this trash. Oh, what Avenger would Jen get along with best? Nobody cares, okay? Your show is garbage. Nobody cares. Nobody likes your show. How did it feel to accurately predict what the trolls would be saying? Our writer's room opened 3 years ago. The fact that we were able to predict what the reaction is going to be, what a lot of the trolling comments were going to be, really shows how very tired and unoriginal these trolls are. That really tickled me because the little troll that lives inside of me really loves trolling the trolls. You didn't troll the trolls. You trolled your own show. You trolled yourself. You intentionally wrote a bad show, chick. You intentionally wrote a show you knew would get trolled. There's no other way you could have done this, okay? If you wrote a really good show and then tried to end it with this episode where you're talking about, ha, 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 look what all the trolls, like, wait a minute, all them cats was loving your stuff. They were saying good things about it because as we just saw with all of these other things, hey, you know, audiences pretty much for the most part liked them. Yeah, there's going to be some negativity here and there, but for the most part, people liked them. People liked them. So what are you talking about, Jessica Gal? You're full of shit. I'm sorry. You're full of shit. Like seriously, this ain't the OWN they think it is. You know, this isn't the OWN you think it is. You wrote a show knowing it would be trolled. You know, like you could have written an objectively good TV show with good characters and good storylines and then came out with an article similar to this with similar talking points talking about, hey, you know what? We just wanted to show that She-Hulk can be just as great as all of these other characters. So we really put in hard work to make sure that we gave the fans exactly what they wanted in terms of a really good, solid show. And all of this stuff that you're talking about would have had a lot more weight. At least it would have held a little bit more weight than what it's holding now. Now you just sound like a fraud. You sound like a con artist, you know? It's just like you've decided you're going to con the fans and give them some slop, and then you're going to laugh at them for hating it. You could have really did something good instead of this buffoonery, right? Instead of inserting attacks on your audience inside the creative work. You could have written a good show that people would be talking about, kind of like how people talk about House of the Dragon. People are talking about Andor. You could have wrote a show that people would be talking about instead of some nonsense, instead of a hit piece masquerading as a TV show. And I think what's become clear at this point is that the fans have absolutely owned these guys, right? The fans have absolutely owned these cats to the point where they just can't ignore the fans anymore like Hollywood used to do. Hey, we got criticism back in the day. Oh, whatever. Move on to the next, okay? They can't do that. Their feelings have been so hurt. Like, their feelings are so hurt by these fans leaving their comments on YouTube, leaving their comments in Rotten Tomatoes, leaving their comments on IMDb, right? Basically doing 360-degree windmill dunks on their flaming bag of dog shit show. They are so mad about that, right? That now they just got to do all of this. They actually have to put responses into the creative work. These guys are broken, man. Like, you can call them trolls and make fun of them all you want. These trolls have broken you. You've lost your ability to create good material. This is not creative. This is not funny. This is the most on-the-nose nonsense. We've been saying this. They're just making a show that's going to attack, like, the audience. That's basically what they're doing, right? It's the same thing we saw with Velma. You remember, we just been seeing this with Velma, with their inserting attacks against the audience inside the trailers, inside the shows now. Oh, my God. What happened to Hollywood, man? Like, these guys used to be like Hollywood, for better or for worse. They respected the fans and they wasn't attacking them. Like, they might always attack something in society or different types of things. And that's one thing. But to attack the very fans of your own show, like just why not just make a better movie, you know, or make a better TV show next time? We'll get them next time. You know, why not do that? You know. Like, this is why we need the Rippaverse, man. Because, can you imagine Ripper doing some nonsense like this? Oh, man, people was critical of ISOM #1. So in ISOM #2, I'm going to attack those people. Like, come on, man. Here's my thing. This is just a red herring, okay? Everything they're saying up in here, this was pre-planned. They knew that they were going to do this. And the reality is they just didn't have any good ideas for this show, okay? That's really what it is. They just didn't have any good ideas for a She-Hulk show. That's what I feel. Their reasoning is complete BS. Like I said, they don't know what they're doing. It's their inability to write like the courtroom parts. Like, they even admitted that we don't know how to write courtroom dramas. We don't know how to write this type of stuff. So that's what this was. They didn't know how to write She-Hulk. They didn't know what they could do with this character. They didn't have any good concepts or ideas or anything on board. So they just said, fuck it. Let's just go ahead and just do some nonsense or whatever. We don't care. At this point, let's just attack the trolls. All right, there's an idea. Go ahead and attack the trolls. Like, that's literally what they did, because they have nothing else to offer to the fans of Marvel. They just want to go ahead and just spit nonsense, okay? And the reason for that is, like I said, they didn't know how to write a female superhero. They're not fans of the comics, okay? These people are not fans of the comics. They didn't read the books growing up. They didn't have any good ideas of a story that they could bring into this universe. So instead, let's just write some cheesy, unfunny comedy. That's what we'll do. It's like, at this point, you had a good character, but you didn't have any good ideas. What was Kevin Feige's reaction to the finale? Kevin had a huge hand in that finale in the character of Kevin. Ironically, I was more squeamish about it than they were. I was like, are we going too far? Are we throwing Marvel and fans under the bus by putting down Marvel films? They have such a self-deprecating, irreverent sense about them, and they were totally willing to poke fun at themselves. Any criticism you can lob at them, they have thought of. I mean, they probably have, but a lot of the criticisms, unfortunately, are true. Look, like I said, Kevin Feige is just lucky, okay? And yeah, better to be lucky than good, but let's just call it what it is. The man's got lucky. Look, this part right here, this is the most amazing part to me. Their goal is to make the fans become the villain of the show. That's what their goal was. Make the fans become the villains of the show. And you'll hear them say, oh, no, not the true fans, right? The true fans, right? The true fans, no. They'll never be the villains. They'll never be the villains. We love them. And I guess in their head, like, the true fans are the people that never complain about the show, right? And never have harsh criticisms about them or the show or the way they told a particular character, right? Those are the true fans, right? No, everybody else, the true fans just grin and bear it. If we write some dog shit, they'll just take, hey, no problem. We're cool with that, okay? That's, to them, are the true fans. They love everything regardless of bad quality. They'll go along to get along. That's what they are. But that's just not true. The reality is that you don't really know who the true Marvel fans are. You just basically insulted fans with this, like, lazy ass effort. Like, you really didn't care. And listen, I have friends who like this show, okay? They like this show. And they're probably sitting here watching me and they're shaking my head, man, nah, you just don't understand this show. You don't understand how good this show is. Okay, fine. I want somebody to explain to me, give me something good in terms of, give me a compelling argument, okay? Something in terms of a good character or a good story point that was well executed in this show from beginning to end. Give me something, okay? Something that was good. You can't, okay? You can't. And it's just so ironic that this is taking place at a time when House of the Dragon is just absolutely crushing it with its storytelling, with its character development, with its world building. It is just absolutely amazing. Same thing with Andor. I mean, again, you guys may or may not like these particular shows. I don't know, but I'm enjoying those. This thing is far inferior to anything that's out on television right now. It is literally the worst thing out on television. And, and these showrunners and these writers, they didn't give it their best, right? And that's the biggest condemnation about all of this, that they just didn't care. But you guys go ahead, leave me your thoughts and your opinions in the comments below. And thanks for watching. See you next time.